How's it going, everybody? In today's video, I just wanted to talk about the second semester and how it's going so far. The good news is that I have been really enjoying every single anesthesia course. So right now I'm taking a course that for the whole first month, I was introduced to the anesthesia machine, the breathing circuit, and I pretty much needed to be able to dissect it and know the pressures and the parts and all the safety devices and what to do if something went wrong and what to do if this happens, the pressures between um, nitrous oxide and oxygen and the different vaporizers for inhalational anesthetics and just general alarms in the ventilators. If which I mean, if you work in the ICU, you're probably familiar with um, high pressure alarms, things like that. Um, so I had a test on that, and I felt like even though the content was very, I don't want to say difficult because if you put in the work, you can do it. But it was a lot. It was a whole month worth of content. From I had class from like 9 to 3:30 or so every Monday. So if you and I needed to be able to condense it and make a guide. So needless to say, I because I found it very enjoyable, it didn't matter to me, and I ended up scoring very well on the test. It has to be one of the highest grades I've ever gotten so far, and I also have a anesthesia specific pharmacology course, and again, it's definitely getting deeper than my previous pharmacology course. I mean, you're going down to the receptors and how the pH and the pKa of drugs affect absorption and how it distributes across the tissues and action potentials, how myelination of neurons affect absorption of local anesthetics, you name it. And it can be a little bit intimidating when you see it, but if you put in the effort, and I mean, if you're here, you have to enjoy, you have to have a passion for this stuff to begin with. So if you put in the time to review and read and watch videos and just really get it, it doesn't matter what kind of question they ask you, because as long as you know the big picture, you know what's you can go from there and then start learning the small details. And I found that very helpful this time around. And then I'm also taking a Pathophys course, which I took a test, and surprisingly, that was the most difficult one out of the three classes that I just mentioned. And not because, again, I think it has to do with the fact that, I mean, I like physiology, but when it comes to Pathophys, the first 3 weeks of learning, it was very boring to me because it went back to the cell and how it divides and problems with division. So you can have neoplasms, and you start talking about cancers, genetic stuff, and the healing process, inflammation, things like that. And although I get it, it's very important to know those things. I thought I was going to find it really interesting. And to be honest with you, after watching a lecture that lasts like, it's divided into three videos, but it's a total of like 3 hours listening to the professor, and it just gets very, very boring. And I'm hoping that it'll get better once it goes into the systems, which it seems like it's going to start going to the cardiac system, and then disease processes related to this, and then disease process related to hemodynamic issues, and then now you're going down to the um, renal system and so on. So I'm hoping that it'll get better. But so far, I this first month I feel like I started out doing really well, and that will definitely decrease my pressure as I go and stress as I keep going forward. The other class I'm taking is it's almost like a sim lab type of, it's like an introduction to clinical practice in anesthesia practice. And I'm gonna be going to school in the afternoon to learn. So this Tuesday, I'm going to be going to school to learn basic airway management, and I'm going to be learning how to secure the airway, be exposed to the machine, and then how to intubate and things like that. And eventually, it'll be other stuff like related to that. They will be doing simulations where they're going to be watching me. They're going to simulate. I'm assuming something will go wrong. They're going to be watching me behind a mirror or something. And then the last class I'm taking is a leadership and management course, which it's very easy, to be honest with you. I mean, as long as you do the work and do the reading and continue to write the papers and complete the discussion boards, I mean, I don't see that being an issue. So now I don't want to say the negative, but the problem with this semester is not so much the level of difficulty, because again, I find it a little bit deeper, is the fact that if I really want to get to a level where I feel confident and comfortable, I'm down to not really having a day off. So the whole month of January, I was taking maybe half of Saturday off. I may study for 3 to 4 hours, but Sunday was like a full day of, not full day, but for me, a full day means 8 or 9 to 5, 9 to 6 of studying for a test Monday or a test Tuesday. And I'm finding that that has become the norm for this semester. I think this summer it'll taper down just because I'm gonna be going to clinical 3 days a week, and then it'll be 2 online courses. So I'm hoping, because this has been, I cannot see myself doing this for a whole year. I mean, I'm gonna burn out. And at the same time, I'm trying to keep a balance. You know, I'm trying to stay healthy as far as like working out and spending time with my family. And by that, I mean calling them with my fiance and eating healthy. And just, you know, trying to do the things that I love. So if I enjoy watching a movie or a show, I mean, I still try to do that once I'm done working, because I just want to get my mind off school stuff. But yeah, that's it. And I just wanted to talk about how much better this semester is, simply because I'm being exposed to the material that I fell in love to begin with, which is anesthesia. And I think it's very rewarding to get a good grade once you spend so much time prepping for the test. And I found that last semester I was cramming a little bit at the end. So say that this week I'm learning about, I don't know, I'm just saying. So if I was learning about physics and chemistry for anesthetics, I would learn this stuff for the week, and then just enough to get the work done for the week, but I wasn't going in full testing mode. So this time around, what I do is, if I have a class Monday, I dedicate another day of the week within the week. So say that I have class Monday, Thursday, I go back to the material and I start creating a summary or an outline of what I notice is going to be most likely of the test. So by the time I go back and review, officially, I'm actually really reviewing and not relearning or learning something that I kind of knew. And that has definitely been a huge help for me this time around. And I don't know, I mean, I just gotta say that I'm really happy with where I am right now, and I'm gonna be having spring break and at the end of the month. And for those who subscribed, thank you so much. I noticed that I got a few subscribers. I honestly do not do this for the money or because I want to make a living out of this. I'm doing it more so because I want to look back and see my progress, because even now I'm looking back at last semester, and a lot of the things that I'm learning right now, they're starting to make more sense. So I can only imagine in 2 years from now, when I'm closer to graduating, how much more sense that's gonna make, and I'm gonna be connecting the dots. But if you have any questions, like I said, I'm happy to answer. Just leave them down in the comment section down below, and I'll get back to you whenever I can. But as you can imagine, I mean, I'm really busy, but it so far has been very enjoyable, and I cannot imagine doing anything else. So I hope you have a nice day and stay warm, because it has been snowing here. But until next time.